Let's go Broncos! Something special is happening in Denver, and if you've been paying attention, you know exactly what I mean. We're not just talking about a bounce-back season. We're talking about a cultural shift, a locker room transformation, a team that's making the rest of the NFL nervous. And believe me, what happened last game? That was just the beginning. But before we reveal all the behind-the-scenes details and show you why this Broncos team is different, be sure to like this if you truly believe this team is on the verge of something legendary. If you've been following the Broncos through thick and thin, now's the time to step up. Leave a comment that says, "Come on, Broncos. We were made for the Super Bowl." We've got receipts, raw leadership moments, and proof that this team is ready to shock the league. Stay tuned, because I promise, you've never heard this before. What we saw from your Denver Broncos wasn't just a win over the Bengals, it was a declaration. This isn't just a team that wins games. This is a team that makes every other franchise in the NFL jealous, and it's not just about stats. It's about culture, brotherhood, selflessness. Let's start with J.K. Dobbins. He could have made the postgame all about himself. After all, he became the first 100-yard rusher the Broncos have had since Latavius Murray, long before COVID even hit our vocabulary. But what did he do with the mic? He chose humility. He gave praise to Bo Nix, and did it in Spanish. That's the kind of unselfish leadership that doesn't just show up in the box score, but echoes through a locker room. And speaking of unselfish stars, Courtland Sutton put on a masterclass, not in catching touchdowns, but in team-first football. Despite taking hits from Trey Hendrickson, one of the league's premier pass rushers, who, by the way, got blanked thanks to Garrett Bowles dominating the edge, Sutton went out and made a block late in the game that would make an offensive lineman proud. While up 21-3, many WR1S would be conserving energy or avoiding contact. Not Sutton. He put a defender flat on his back to pave the way for Dobbins' historic run. That's leadership in action. This team is built different. Look at the trenches. Zach Allen doesn't light up the stat sheet, but he's taking on triple teams just to let guys like John Franklin Myers eat. If you watch that sack Franklin Myers got, Allen was the unsung hero, absorbing blockers and freeing up space. That kind of dirty work is what wins championships, and it's the same kind of team-first mentality we used to see from Derek Wolfe during Von Miller's Super Bowl MVP run. And the rookies? They're buying in completely. Pat Bryant hasn't had many catches yet, but when Marvin Mims was about to get clobbered, Bryant threw a critical block. The moment was caught on film, and in the video, Bryant said, "If I didn't hit him, he was going to hit you. I had to do it." That's not ego, that's heart. Now let's talk Nick Benito. The numbers say it all. Highest pressure rate in the NFL through 4 games, 31% of his snaps end in pressure. That's elite. He could be basking in his own glory, and it'd be justified. But instead, he's on social media praising his teammates, throwing support to Riley Moss, Pat Surtain, and others. He's more than a sack machine. He's a locker room catalyst. That brings us to the secondary, where Pat Surtain has solidified himself as the best defensive player in football. Jamar Chase, one of the league's most dangerous wideouts, was held to just 23 yards. 2 of the 4 worst performances of Chase's career have come when lined up across from Surtain. This man doesn't just lock down his side of the field, he locks down the entire conversation about who the NFL's best cornerback is. Bo Nix, aka the Bobbit, had the best day of any AFC quarterback this past week. 326 yards, surgical ball distribution, poise under pressure, and absolute command of the game. The narrative about his sophomore slump? It's officially dead. He didn't just light up the scoreboard, he blitzed the Bengals' zone schemes, going 12 of 16 under pressure, moving the chains, and keeping the offense ahead of schedule. And what do you see when you look at his passing chart? Spread precision. He's throwing darts across the entire field, feeding multiple receivers and keeping defenses honest. And it's not just about the throws. This dude leads like Payton Manning. After R.J. Harvey scored his first touchdown, Bo didn't jog off to the sideline. He picked up the ball and made sure Harvey got it. That's rare. That's the stuff of legends. This team celebrates each other. Jonathan Cooper, a monster on defense alongside Benito, introduced his teammate to the press as the best pass rusher in the NFL. That's not common. That's culture. And this team's culture? It's playoff bound. Oh, and the Broncos defense? They suffocated the Bengals offense so completely that Jake Browning probably woke up in a cold sweat last night thinking about Benito and Cooper coming off the edge. And even more impressive, they did it while keeping their top defenders fresh. Cooper and Benito only logged 29 snaps each. That's Payton managing the long game. Smart, strategic, brutal. Because when you look at how Sean Payton has orchestrated this roster, it's not just about play design or depth charts. It's about identity. And right now, The Denver Broncos have one of the strongest, most cohesive identities in the entire NFL. That's what separates playoff teams from championship teams. And that identity? It starts with grit, accountability, and leadership, top to bottom. Take the defensive front again. Zach Allen might be invisible in the stat sheet, but turn on the tape and you see a man who is constantly occupying multiple blockers. He's the unsung enforcer that allows Cooper and Benito to feast. Allen's willingness to be the sacrificial piece for the bigger picture is reminiscent of what great defenses have always had. A guy like him who just wrecks protection schemes without needing recognition. And the Broncos are thriving because of it. When Allen draws 2 or 3 blockers, you give your edge guys one-on-ones, and that's when this defense becomes dangerous. Quarterbacks don't have time. Offensive coordinators can't stick to a rhythm. And that's why the Broncos had Browning completely unraveled after that opening drive. That's not just a good defense, that's a terrifying one, with fresh legs and rotational depth that's being utilized masterfully by this coaching staff. Now let's shift back to the offense. Everyone's going to talk about Bo Nix's stats, and yeah, they were amazing. But what I love is how he dismantled the Bengals' zone blitz. Early in the season, that was a pain point. That's where he struggled. But not anymore. He was 12 of 16 under the blitz last night with a touchdown and 11 first downs. That's not just improvement. That's evolution. That's film room work, quarterback room strategy, and in-game execution all clicking at the same time. This is what happens when a quarterback starts seeing the game like a veteran. Bo's pre-snap reads are cleaner, his footwork is tighter, and his confidence is turning into swagger. Not arrogance, just that quiet command that says, I've got this. And when your young quarterback leads with humility, celebrates his teammates, and picks up rookie touchdown balls to give them a memory they'll never forget, you've got something special. And the chemistry? You see it everywhere. Marvin Mims and Pat Bryant aren't just teammates, they're brothers. Mims knew that Block Bryant threw saved him from getting crushed, and the moment went viral for a reason. It showed who these guys are. They're not here for Pro Bowl nods or social media stats. They're here to win, together. And let's not forget about Evan Ingram. Back from injury, thrown into the fire with 6 targets, and guess what? He looked like a problem for the Bengals defense. This tight end room has quietly become a key asset, and having Ingram healthy adds a whole new dynamic to the offensive scheme. With Dobbins pounding the rock, Ingram stretching the middle, and receivers like Sutton, Mims, and Franklin stretching the field, it's pick your poison time for defensive coordinators. Speaking of Dobbins, the question now is, do you lock him in long term? Right now, he looks like a foundational piece. He's running with power, vision, and unselfishness. If he stays healthy, there's a real argument to sign him to a 5-year deal. This offense needs his style. He fits Payton's vision perfectly. He doesn't need the spotlight, but he's earning it anyway. And how about that Bo Nix sideline throw to Marvin Mims? The timing, the touch, the placement, absolutely elite. But the moment that stuck with me the most was when he threw to Troy Franklin, perfectly placed, perfectly timed, and just pure synergy. You don't teach that. You build that through work, reps, and trust. This isn't just a collection of good players. It's a unit that's peaking at the right time. And while people will try to downplay the win, oh, it was the Bengals without Burrow, they're missing the bigger picture. Look around the league. Beating any NFL team by dominating in every facet, offense, defense, and special teams, is rare. That's exactly what Denver did. Over 500 yards of offense. More penalties by the Bengals than first downs. Complete shutdown of elite receivers. All while preserving your top pass rushers for the long road ahead. And don't even get me started on Patrick Surtain. The man is playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. He didn't just hold Jamar Chase in check. He erased him. 23 yards. That's it. That's elite cornerback play against one of the NFL's premier wideouts. When you need a big play shutdown, Surtain is already 2 steps ahead. It's no wonder teams